This video is to go out to those of you who are losing interest in music. So I want to go over some points that you might want to try out before you kind of ditch it as a hobby. So one of the things that I'd like you to try if you already haven't is that you are a musician. You are an artist. So instead of just creating, or instead of, I just gave the answer away, but basically instead of just playing other artists' music, instead of just looking at theirs, start creating your own. You can start creating and developing your own voice in music. You can have lyrics, you can decide whether you want to express yourself in that way or not, or you can just have instrumental. Okay? It is your choice. You can then find out how to really go down that path as well. You could just record it as normal, just on your phone, whatever, right? Or you can just, as normal, you would use like manuscript paper and just record all your music there. Now, that can be kind of challenging. It's just like kind of big, but give it a shot. Might be a bit hard, but just give it a shot. I think you'll find a lot of fun in that. Some other things that I'd like you to try is also, because you might be creating music, I would say collaborating with other people would be really fun as well. Especially like if you're playing in a band, it just makes everything a lot more fun. I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm playing in a band, I feel like I could rehearse with a band for hours and hours. I could rehearse with them for the entire day. All right, it's just that fun, bouncing ideas off of each other and then being able to literally like look at each other and realize that you are signaling towards like a certain type of ending or sort of like a fill in between like the verse and then just into the pre-chorus. That is really exciting. Okay, some of you might be a solo musician, you might just be playing on your own. Fine, if you might have some friends who are also some musicians, just ask them to like, hey, do you want to come along, we'll play some things. All right, here's some songs that we could do. All right, you'll have some fun. Okay, you can make your own style as well. Like, let's say you wanted to play like a Disney song. All right, and it doesn't have to be that specific genre. All right, like let's say for example the Jungle Book, there's the Bare Necessity song, which is kind of like what's called like ragtime, right? You could change it into something else. You could change it into jazz if you wanted to, pop. Okay, you can do a lot with that. You can experiment. You are a musician, you're an artist. You start creating. You do not sit around and then just listen to other people's stuff. Okay, you can also create your own. Try it. There's some other things I'd like to also go over. So on top of the experimentation part, you might have lost interest in your own instrument. You might start hating it as well. I remember I was kind of reaching that point as well, because there was a point in time when I was basically playing the piano 2 hours every single day, and it was really the only thing I did for hours, just hours and hours, and I was under a lot of stress. All right, you have to be able to also move on to other like music stuff, I guess. So like you could do another instrument, whatever you want. All right, there might have been another instrument you might be interested in. Okay, like for me, I had bass to basically go back onto. So like bass guitar, I'm not very good at it, which is why I haven't really recorded any music with it. I might actually though. It's a good idea. But basically, try other instruments. I bet you there's another instrument that you might be really interested in. Like I've got a friend that's basically doing clarinet. She she mainly does singing, and they had to move on to piano because basically her studies kind of needed her to do that. But she moved on to clarinet as well, and she's really enjoying it. She's got a tutor for it as well, but she's having a lot of fun. Basically, move on to another instrument as well, and you might find that kind of reignites your passion in music. You might want to create more, and because you might be learning a new instrument, it allows for more options when you create music as well. And it's all like an ecosystem. It's actually quite, it's quite, I don't know what the word is, but it's just, it makes you really think about how beautiful this entire system is, how beautiful art can really be. You just want to keep going. You want to keep creating. Now, last part, and it kind of tied in with like creating music, but it's to look into genres. For me, because I'm a classical pianist, I mainly looked at like classical stuff, right? So I looked at romantic, classical, and baroque. That's basically all I looked at, right? But then there's other genres as well. There's a lot of other genres, right? There's like contemporary, which a lot of people don't like contemporary like art because, or rather like modern art, which is basically all super super simple. Personally, I don't really like it. You might not like it either. We probably vibe, but basically, there are a lot of genres out there. Look at some of the songs in that. Give it a try, okay? Because I remember there was a point that yeah, I did start disliking like romantic music and all that and classical, but then I started thinking about like I started looking way more into like maybe Baroque, okay, and I was like, wow, okay, this is Baroque music specifically. It is extremely difficult with how the both hands on the piano and they have to like independent. They had to go together interlocked like that, and it's really really difficult. It's quite a challenge, but it's quite enjoyable at the same time. And there's other ones like other genres like jazz. Okay, jazz is quite a big genre, so there's a lot of like subgenres in it. However, jazz is also very very complex at the same time. There's a bunch of modes that you have to learn about. That can be quite fun. It might not be fun. It might not be your style. There's also just pop in general. Okay, a lot of people, a lot of the the classical community in general. Okay, like if you're playing piano or woodwind, you'll probably be classed in like the classical community, I guess, because you know a lot about it and you play it a lot. But basically, they don't tend to really like the pop music in general. They just don't really like it. They think it's quite simple and all that, but really everything has its own everything has a sort of beauty to it. Everything, okay? Now, yes, it might be that pop singers and just pop songs are quite simple compared to like Beethoven, all right? But even so, like basically Beethoven was pop at that time. It just was. That's just how it worked, all right? But it's important to basically learn about all these other genres because you'll probably find that you've been looking very narrowly down this one lane, but then you realize that there's all these other things, and it makes you want to explore all these other things as a result. Okay, so don't lose interest just yet. There's a bunch of other things to still go after. Okay, and I promise you, you will most likely have a lot of fun with one of these suggestions. So that's creating music. You can collaborate within that. You can also learn a new genre, right? Or even like learn a new instrument. There's a bunch of things you could try, okay? Don't give up just yet, okay? You might not want to give up music just yet, okay? Because when you've been studying music for a long time, it tends to really stick with you, okay? I would not try to let it go. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing music can be, okay? Hopefully this is helpful. Bye bye.